All right, so you guys wanted to know more about music and the mind, right? Well, hold on tight because we found some seriously cool research on this stuff. We dug into a study from Georgia Tech, a global personality analysis, and even talked with an expert to get their take. Basically, what we're going to do today is explore how music can actually unlock memories and even reveal some hidden parts of your personality.
Yeah, music is so much more than just something fun to listen to. It's really connected to how our brains work, how we feel, and even who we are as people.
Exactly. Like, think about it. We've all had that moment where a song just takes us back in time. A first dance, a summer road trip, a certain feeling. It's like music just holds on to these memories and they're ready to come back whenever we hear the song. But the really cool part is the science behind it.
Oh yeah, it's not just a feeling. There's actually research on this.
Yeah.
A study from Georgia Tech had people listen to music that was personally meaningful to them for an hour a day for 3 weeks.
An hour a day. Wow, that's commitment to a playlist. What happened? Did their brains like turn into little concert halls or something?
Huh, not quite. But they did find something amazing. The researchers saw that listening to this music actually made the neural pathways in their brains more active, especially in the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, so for those of us who don't have a PhD in neuroscience, what does that even mean?
Well, the prefrontal cortex is basically like the control center for a lot of the important stuff. Our brains do things like memory and making decisions. So the fact that music can stimulate this area means that it has a real impact on how well our brains work.
Whoa, so it's not just about feeling good, it's about actually making our brains function better. That's pretty powerful. What about long term? Did this musical brain workout have any lasting effects?
One of the coolest things they found was that the positive changes in the brain were especially strong in people who were dealing with some age-related cognitive decline.
Wait, are you saying that just listening to music could help slow down cognitive decline? That's incredible.
It's a really promising area of research, and the lead researcher actually said, it's simple. Keep listening to the music that you've loved all your life. Your all-time favorite songs, those pieces that are especially meaningful to you, make that your brain, Jim.
I think that's some medical advice I can actually get behind. So, music can unlock memories and maybe even help our brains stay sharp. But it doesn't stop there, right? You mentioned something about music and personality.
Absolutely. There's this massive study with over 350,000 people from all over the world, and they found some really interesting connections between what kind of music people like and their personality traits.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. So, you're telling me my love for 80s power ballads says something deep about me?
It might. For example, they found that people who are extroverts, those outgoing life of the party types, they tend to love upbeat contemporary music. Think something like Ed Sheeran's Shivers, high energy and a strong beat.
That makes sense. Extroverts love being around people, so it's natural that their music choices would reflect that. What about people who are more laid back and agreeable? What kind of tunes do they go for?
Well, they found that agreeable people, the ones who really value getting along and connecting with others, they usually prefer mellow and unpretentious music. Something like Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, music that brings people together.
Interesting. So while the extroverts are out on the dance floor, the agreeable folks are setting the mood with some soulful tunes. I like it. Makes sense, right? What about those who are always up for trying new things? What kind of music did they like?
The study found that people who have open personalities, those who are curious and imaginative, they tend to enjoy more complex and sophisticated music, like classical or jazz, or even something like David Bowie's Space Oddity. They're drawn to the creativity and things that are a little different.
That makes sense. They're looking for music that makes them think and pushes the boundaries. So basically what you're saying is our music preferences can actually tell us a lot about our personalities.
Exactly. And one of the coolest things they found was that these patterns are pretty much the same no matter where people were from. It didn't matter what their cultural background was or where they lived. People with similar personalities tended to like similar music.
So you're saying that an extrovert in Argentina is likely to love the same kind of high energy music as an extrovert in Australia? That's amazing. It really shows how universal music is. It's like a language that everyone understands no matter where they're from.
It really does. It seems like there's something deep down inside us that connects our personalities to the music we enjoy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all super straightforward. There were some surprises too.
Oh, like what?
Well, they found a negative association between conscientiousness and liking intense music.
That's interesting. Does that mean organized and detail-oriented people don't like to let loose with some heavier sounds? What even counts as intense music anyway?
That's a good question, and the study didn't really define it.
Hmm.
It could be a bunch of things together, like volume, tempo, maybe even the lyrics. But it seems like people who are really conscientious might find intense music kind of overwhelming or distracting.
That's really fascinating. It's not just about what kind of music we like, but also what kind of musical experiences we're comfortable with based on our personalities. Speaking of personalities, what about neuroticism? Did they find anything about how people who tend to experience more negative emotions engage with music?
They did, and it was kind of unexpected.
Oh, I'm all ears. What'd they find?
On average, people who showed neurotic tendencies actually liked more intense styles of music.
That's really interesting. So maybe it's not about wanting to wallow in sadness, but more about using intense music as a way to work through those tough emotions.
That's definitely a possibility. It could be like a way to experience and manage those feelings in a safe space.
Yeah. It makes you think about how powerful music can be. It's not just something we listen to in the background. It's a tool we can use to deal with our emotions, express ourselves, and even make our brains work better.
Exactly. And we're just starting to understand how complex the relationship between music and our minds really is.
It's mind-blowing. But before we get too carried away, let's bring it back to our listeners. What are the key takeaways from what we've talked about today? Okay, so let's recap. We talked about how music's like a time machine for our memories and how it can actually help our brains stay sharp. And then we got into how our music taste can reveal a lot about our personalities. Where does all that leave us?
I think it shows us that music is so much more than just something enjoyable to listen to. It's like this powerful force that shapes our experiences, helps us remember things, and even shows us parts of ourselves that we didn't know were there.
It really is amazing when you think about all the things music could do. If it can affect our brains and feelings so strongly, imagine what we could accomplish if we used it in a more deliberate way.
Yeah, the possibilities are pretty incredible. Imagine a world where doctors prescribe music for anxiety or depression, or even to help people heal from trauma. What if music was a regular part of how we take care of ourselves,
Mm,
how we learn, and how we connect with each other?
that would be amazing. And based on what we've talked about today, it doesn't sound impossible. I mean, we already use music for so many things: to celebrate, to grieve, to connect with others, to feel inspired. What if we took it a step further and used it to heal, to learn, and to grow as people?
It's really all about exploring and discovering,
Yeah.
not just about the science behind music, but also about what it means to be human.
So the next time you listen to your favorite playlist, take a second to appreciate just how powerful music really is. It's not just sounds. It's a part of who we are, a connection to our past, and maybe even a way to unlock our full potential.
And who knows what other incredible discoveries about music and the mind are still out there waiting for us. This field is just getting started, and I can't wait to see what we find next.
Me neither. This has been a really cool deep dive, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did. Keep listening to the music that moves you and never stop being curious about the amazing power it has.